Hello, chain breakers. So, are you dreading Mother's Day? Do you dread holidays? Do you have guilt about going no contact? All right, well, this message is for you. All right, so this is a Mother's Day message, and really it applies to whenever you see this. You may see this for holidays, you may see this when there is no holiday, okay? But this message is for you. For those of you who are wrestling with guilt, those who feel condemnation, those who feel shame about having a narcissistic mother, oh my dear, this message is for you. Let's get into it. All right. Hello, chain breakers. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Shannon Savoy. I am a certified life coach, speaker, advocate, and survivor of domestic violence and narcissist abuse. I am the CEO of Narc Free Living, and here at Narc Free Living, we speak on narcissist abuse from a spiritual and biblical perspective. I help to empower and educate others on how to navigate their way out of narcissist abuse and abusive situations and dysfunctional relationships according to practical strategies and God's words. Here we are breaking the chains of narcissist abuse. All right, so if this is your first time here, welcome. If you are a part of the Chain Breaker family, welcome. To my YouTube family, LinkedIn family, whoever it is that may see this, you are welcome here now. We are all family now, all right? So go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button so that somebody else may need this message as well, okay? So thank you, thank you, thank you. And then let me put up my social media links and platforms so that you can follow me there as well. All right. And on Tuesdays at 7 p.m., we do Clubhouse, me and an awesome group of amazing Holy Spirit-led, God-filled women. We talk about all things narcissist abuse on Tuesdays. All right. And then if you want to book a life coaching session with me, you can do that at www.narcfreeliving.com. The link is there at the bottom of the page, or you can go to my Linktree. Like, I'm around, I'm everywhere. Okay. And I have an upcoming boot camp on May 12th from 7 to 9 and May 15th from 3 to 5 p.m. CST time. All right. So go there. Here's some information about that. All right. So let's get into this message. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right. So, and let me start off with this scripture, all right? But whoever denies me before men, I will also deny him before my Father in heaven. Do not assume that I have come to bring peace to earth. I have come to bring but a sword. For I have come to turn a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And I can tell you, chain breakers, that has happened in my life. All right. But I can tell you, once you begin to stand on God's word, once you begin to live for God, oh, those who are playing church and those who have played church for 30 and 40 and 50 years, these spiritual narcissists, these narcissistic mothers, oh, the truth will divide. What is my boy Rizzo, my man Rizzo always says, our friend, family friend, the truth divides, the truth disturbs, the truth divides, but ultimately the truth delivers, and the truth will set you free. All right. And how many of you know that's one of my favorite scriptures is John 8:3-6. Who the Son sets free is free indeed. So once God tells you the truth, oh, you cannot go back. You cannot go back to lies. OK, you cannot buy into the enemy's lies. And that is what I had to come out of agreement with. And it is an agreement. All right. If you choose to believe and stay embedded with narcissists, you are choosing to believe the lies of a loser. And I have come out of agreement, and I hope that you do too, so you can break those soul ties. All right. So let's get into this. First of all, I want you to understand that you are not your mother. All right. For those of us who have who grew up with narcissistic mothers, we became highly, a lot of us either became highly enmeshed with our narcissistic mothers. And the world paints this picture like all mothers are awesome mothers. Wouldn't that be amazing if all mothers who chose to have children, who made the choice, who have the free will to bring children into this world, most of them, unless you came in by rape or something like that, most of our mothers made a choice. All right. They made a choice to have us. All right. So they also made a choice to become narcissistic. It is a choice. We all were hurt. Now, do I have compassion? Absolutely. But I want you to understand that you are not your mother, and the choices that she made do not have to affect you and impede your life for the rest of your life. All right. But let's talk about going no contact. All right. So if you are no contact, stay no contact. Don't allow a made up holiday, a pagan holiday, a made up holiday to get you to go back on what you know to be true about your mother. Okay. But I will say, if you are not no contact and you want to go no contact, you must be ready to emotionally detach. You must be ready to sever that ungodly soul tie. And make no mistake, anybody that tries to control you, manipulate you, dominate you, persecute you, sabotage your efforts, and that isn't an ungodly soul tie. That is an ungodly relationship. And yes, you can be in an ungodly relationship with your mother. Okay, so I had to unsever the ungodly soul tie that I had with my narcissistic mother. All right, and that began the journey to healing. All right, did it hurt in the beginning? Yes, it did. This is somebody who you know, I was the vessel in which God chose for me to come into this world. All right. So yes, that is going to hurt. All right. It is going to hurt. But I was emotionally ready to detach because I saw that God was going to allow her to hurt me over and over again until I cut those strings and went no contact. All right. Because you have to begin to understand that narcissists are emotional manipulators. All right. And even your mother. Now, when I see her physically, I see her face. All right. But when I see, well, you see her face, I see her spirit now. I see her spirit. All right. So that's the difference. I was ready. Once God showed me physically, spiritually, what I was dealing with. Detaching, that was easier because now I know what I'm up against. Now I know I'm talking and conversing with and had a tie with somebody who was in an entanglement with Satan, as I always say. All right. So understand, if you've gotten to that point, the narcissist is going to make it seem like you are holding a grudge, that you just don't forgive. Okay, none of all of that. Okay, but you didn't just wake up one morning and say, you know what, it sounds good, I'm just gonna go no contact with my mother. You know, whether it's your mother or your father in this case, but we're talking about mothers on today. You didn't just wake up and say, I'm gonna go no contact for absolutely no reason. You know, but in their mind, these are the things that they have to tell themselves because they have, you've likely had a lifetime of emotional abuse at the very least. Some of you have undergone physical, sexual, financial, all kinds of trauma, but it is psychologically abuse. It is psychological abuse. All right. And abuse is abuse. All right. So yeah, it's not easy to do, but you must be ready to detach. All right. So, and the hard part about that, you must be, see, a lot of people, they whiffle and they waffle. They waffle and they waver. You have to get real clear, because if you are not clear, the enemy is going to be able to come in there and tell you, well, no, you should. What about, you know, no, you shouldn't go no contact. It's your mama. What about your mama? You know, no, she raised you. So you do not, my kids are not indebted to me, okay, for the rest of their lives, because me and their dad made a choice to bring them into this world. They don't owe me their lives. But see, that's because you bought into the lies of the enemy. When you buy into the lies of the enemy, that fog is going to be there. That fear, that obligation, and that guilt is going to be on you, something heavy. So you have to get grounded in what has happened to you. Okay, you don't psych yourself out. You know, now if you tell, must be telling the truth. Okay, Look, you got to be stutter. You have to be telling the truth, all right? Because God will back you up. You don't want to be telling lies like your narcissist mother has been doing, okay? You stand rooted in the truth, and you stand rooted in what has happened to you, because that will allow you not to whiffle, waffle, and waver. All right. But you best believe that no contact is a silent treatment. But that's the story that she's going to tell. She's going to tell people that you are holding a grudge, that you it's the silent treatment. You know, it's not. No contact is not the silent treatment. You are not holding a grudge. You know, most of the time we forgive him. I forgive my narcissistic mother. I forgive her. What am I holding a grudge? Like, I'm not blocking my blessings because of you. I wish I would. Okay. So no. Yeah, I still love her. I just don't want anything to do with her. I understand the severity of what she is dealing with and grasping with. So why am I going to play with that when she's made it clear this is who she is? She does not want to change. She feels like I'm the issue. She has scapegoated me. So why do I want a relationship with somebody like that? Because society says that I should. Y'all better stop that whiffling and waffling and listen to these people. All right. So how do you know if you're ready to go no contact? How do you know when you're ready? All right. So I knew that I was ready once God showed me that she was a narcissist. So I had been divorced and actually remarried when God showed me that. And it blew my mind because I had been studying about narcissists for years, but never in a million years did I think that applied to my family. Never did I think that applied to my mother. Okay. But as I was writing, I was in therapy and just writing things out. Some things had been happening. And I was like, well, how did she lie so easily? And this is not to badmouth my mother. I'm just a truth teller. I'm going to tell the truth. I don't care if you want to hear it. I don't care if it makes people uncomfortable, because the truth shall set you free. And that's why a lot of y'all aren't free, because you're holding your own stuff. You can't talk about stuff. You know, you don't want to offend somebody. Somebody might be watching. They're watching, they're blocked, so they shouldn't be watching anyway. But if they are, I'm telling the truth. So I know God stands on the side of truth, whether it's me or anybody else. Okay. So you know you are ready to go no contact when you're tired of the lies. But as I was saying, I never thought that that applied to my life. I never thought that applied to my family. And I read and I watched and I was like, and only when God, see, that's why it's so important to sit with God, because he will give you new revelation. It's like, oh, it's like peeling an onion back. It's like peeling an onion back. All right. And the more you sit with God, the more he'll show you what next level, what needs to be shed in order for you to go to the next level. And God knew that these people who I was sacrificing for, I would do literally anything for my family. And God knew that these people did not love me. They did not love me. They were unable to reciprocate the love that I was giving to them. So I was essentially casting my pearls to swine. And God was like, oh no, I got to put a step to this, because he knows the trajectory of my life. He knows the plans that he has for me. So he heard the conversations that were being said about me. He knew the lies that were being said about me. Okay. So I came out of agreement with my narcissistic mother, with Satan, and I tore up that soul tie, and I severed that soul tie, and I went into agreement with what God's plan for me. All right. And God, what God's word says about me. No longer do I believe the lies of an enemy, even if of an enemy, that spirit that is within your narcissistic mother. That is your enemy. That's not your friend. I don't care if she is the best homemaker. I don't care if she is the worst homemaker. I don't care what she does for you. I don't care if she watches your kids. I don't care if she babysits. I don't care. Whatever it is, that's the physical. You got to start seeing things from a spiritual perspective. Okay. So once God showed me, I was ready. Okay. So you get tired of the dramatics. You get tired of the blame shifting. You get tired of the pathological lies. All right. You get tired of it being their way or no way. You get tired of the guilt trips. Okay. If you don't make it to an event, if you don't do this just like they like it, if the family doesn't do this like they like it, because they're always the queen bee. All right. Especially they're covert, actually the overts too. They have to be the center of attention. They're the fun aunt. They're the fun grandmother. All right. A lot of them. Now, some of them, they just mean and that, you know, most of them nice, nasty. They have that nice, nasty disposition. All right. So if you got tired of the sabotaging, the favoritism, all right, the petty disagreements, all right, okay, and eating disorders. Do you know that narcissistic parents, because they have that critical spirit, they will cause their children to have issues with food, with eating disorders? All right, you're tired of the silent treatment, the subtle insults, the blatant insults, the backstabbing. All right, just the violation of your boundaries, or not even being taught about boundaries. How many of you knew about boundaries when you were younger? I didn't. I didn't know anything about boundaries. I just knew to let people hurt me over and over. Oh, you apologize? Oh, okay, that means you just get to come back in. What did God's word says? God's word tells us to guard our hearts. No, but the church, four-wall church, and people, society, family, relatives, they'll tell you, oh no, just forgive and let it go. Just, you know, we're family over everything. Those are all the things that my crazy self, well, I ain't crazy, but you know what I mean, myself used to say. All the things, all right? So when you are tired of status quo, when you are tired of staying in a relationship and sacrificing yourself and sacrificing your health and your mental well-being, when you are tired, when you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, you will know that you're ready to sever that soul tie. When you get to the end of your excuses for your mother, oh, well, she was hurt too. Well, she was traumatized. Yeah, she is. She absolutely is, just like you were. Okay. But when you get through sympathizing for a demon, then you know you are well on your way to severing those soul ties. Okay. All right. And what else? What else? Understand that you may lose. Ooh, I wasn't prepared for this. So I want you to be prepared. All right. Understand that you may lose people that you love. For me, that was the hardest. It wasn't losing my mother, because I knew what she was. It was losing. It was the aftermath. It was all the people that she had lied to about me. You know, that was the hard part. Like, y'all believe her, but why wouldn't they? That's their, like, my aunts, uncles. Why wouldn't they? That's their sister. They probably know. You'll soon find out they're all a part of the dysfunctional principality. They're all a part of the dysfunctional family system. And you'll think that your aunt, uncle, or your cousins, or whoever. I have 2 cousins that I still communicate with. 2. Okay. So do you think, I never in a million years thought that my aunt and uncles and all that, I didn't think that they would just disown me like that and never even try to find out what was going on. They don't care, because it disrupts their peace. It disrupts, they don't want to be involved. There's 2 sides to every story. So that's going to hurt. That hurt, especially, you know, an uncle that I was particularly, you know, closer with, you know what I mean? He knows, like, my accomplishments. He knows, you know what I mean? He knows, you know, he knows, but he doesn't know. And that was hard. That was one of the hardest parts. All right. So they're going to take the side, because they are just as unhealthy as the narcissist. And when I look at it, Jezebel, Ahab, all of my family, Jezebel, Ahab. So I want no parts of that. All right. Because I know that if I don't sever the curse and the generational curse, that has the ability to impact my children. All right. And I don't have narcissistic children. Praise God. You know what I mean? But some of you're wondering why your children are narcissistic. All right. Because you haven't cut the cord. You haven't cut the cord. And then even if your spouse or your ex or whoever, your child's father or child's mother is narcissistic, you got to go into warfare for your kids. Your kids are being raised by demons. You know what I mean? So there's no other way that I can put that nicely. Your kids are being demonically influenced, and witchcraft is being performed on your children. I was under a spell of witchcraft. That's why I had to break that soul tie. That's why a lot of you are. You are under witchcraft. You are under demonic influence. That's why you can't let that soul tie go. But that's why low contact, until you can go no contact, is important, so you can begin to see your way out of that fog. Okay. So Yeah, so you have to be willing to stand alone. Like, I'm a writer. I'm tough. I'm just built like that. And I have faith in God. It's not me. It's God. It's God. And I know a lot of you aren't like that. You know what I mean? And that's okay. You have to do what you can stand. But I want you to understand the spiritual implications of that if you choose to stay in that. All right. So I know when I let them go, God sent the people that I really needed. God sent godly sisters and brothers to me. I lack nothing. Okay. I lack nothing. God says he will be your mother and father. When your mother and father forsake you, God will take you up. Oh, he is not lying. He is not lying. He wants you to cut those soul ties with those ungodly people so he can show you your spiritual family. Do you know this biological family is going to pass away? Some of them might not even make it to heaven, and you're sacrificing your purpose to stay in tune with people who won't be with you for eternity. You know, that's the danger. That is the sadness of being in love with demons and staying in love with demons. You know, even when I think about my brother, like it's sad. It's almost like I almost think like, did you ever stand a chance? You know, but I understand he does have free will. He does have free will. He has choices. You know, they all have choices. So yes, you may lose your extended relatives, but God will send you the people that you needed exactly when you need it. And understand that they have the ability, because they operate in the spirit of witchcraft and gossip and slander. They have the ability to turn everyone against you. All right. They have the ability to turn people and lie. And these are the same ladies. We're talking about mothers. These are the same people that go to church on Sunday. All right. And they'll stand up there and tell them how bad of a child you have been. And I've never been a bad child. I can say that. And I know that. And she has said that. But now, oh, I'm sure she is singing a different tune. I'm sure she is singing a different tune. You know, like I'm the one who has made it out. I'm 45. I left home at 18 to go into the military. You know what I mean? So like, what can you say? All I've done is try to be a good daughter. You know what I mean? So, and that's the same with some of you. Some of you, all you have done is tried to be the good daughter or the good son. All right. But it will never be enough to a narcissistic mother. So in a narcissistic family. So understand that you may lose your biological, but God will send you your spiritual family if you trust in him. All right. So you got to be okay with being the bad guy. I'm just going to make this plain. See, some of you, and I was like this too, especially when I unmasked, you know, and told my mother that she was narcissistic. Oh, I wasn't ready. That's why I wanted you to be ready, or support you if you've already gone through this as well. You'll be able to relate to a lot of this. You know, I was like, no, like, you know, sending text message to my family. Nobody responds except for 2 cousins. Actually, 4 responded, but 2, one of them cut me off. And then the other one, well, I knew she was, yeah, whatever. The other one called me and told me to forgive and let it go. So I let her go. She didn't even call to hear my side. Just call and tell me, can't you let this go? Can't you talk to it? No, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you go. So that's my stance. Don't call my phone talking to me about forgive and let it go. You do not know my relationship with God. Okay, so, and who I've forgiven. All right, so I've forgiven all of my life. All of my life, that's all I did. It was hard. It was easier for me to forgive people who hurt me than it was for me to forgive myself. But I was groomed that way. And I understand where that came from. So don't call me talking about forgive and let it go, because I'm going to let you go. I'm going to hang up my phone and we're not going to talk no more. All right. See how easy it is? It's easy once you just give it to God. It's easy. He shows you what you're supposed to be doing. We make it hard. All right. So I had to be okay with being the bad guy. I was reaching out to them. Oh, no, I would never. And they was already committed. They were already committed to believing her version of the story. So why am I going to try to convince people who really don't know me? You know, they don't know me. They don't really know me since I was 18 years old. You know what I mean? They really didn't know me then. But when I look back on it, I've been through molestation. None of them tried to help me because they're part of the system. They're part of the dysfunctional family system. How many of your family, your relatives may have known you were molested or rejected and tried to help you. Okay. So yeah, you got to be okay with being the bad guy, especially to people who have shown you that they don't really care about you. So be okay with being the bad guy. It's all right. Somebody got to be the bad person in the story. So if she wants to tell everybody that she is the victim, let her. I don't care. And I hope you get to a point where you don't care either. Okay. But to her, to a narcissistic mother, she is the victim of the hero. And in this story, she will always be the victim in her mind. So they live in an alternate reality. They do not take accountability. And accountability is not, this is how my mother used to take accountability. I would bring something to her, say, you hurt me. And then she would do, I did the best that I could. Oh, and then that would result in me feeling bad, me embracing her and coddling her. And then I forget about, well, okay, I'll be all right. I will be all right. And I'll protect you. I protected her feelings, because she did the best that she could. So I just, okay, I just leave it alone then. Whatever I'm feeling, I just act like I'm not feeling it because I don't want you to cry. Fake tears. Okay. So yes, they will cry those fake tears. They will do everything but accept responsibility. Now, if you go to a mother and she accepts responsibility, oh, you have such a gift. And when we do that, we give our children such gifts. All right. But to a narcissistic mother, oh, she'll always be the victim. All right. Because she can't take responsibility. So she has to find someone to blame. And usually it's you. All right. So yeah, that leads me into the next point. Don't expect accountability or responsibility. You see, the same thing that applies to the narcissistic ex applies to the narcissistic friend or whoever applies to the narcissistic parent as well. You know how when you were with a narcissistic boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband or whatever friend, and they didn't take accountability, they just blame shifted. Oh, the narcissistic mother does the same thing. Matter of fact, it's worse because she already sits in a position of so-called power and authority that everybody in the world, everything revolves around mothers, because that's how Satan, how he works. This is his world. So this is, for now. So they get to evade accountability. Nobody ever brings anything to them. If they do, they can always they can blame and shift and say, well, your daddy, well, this, they have tons of excuses, but somehow the accountability never resides with them. They're never wrong. No, narcissistic mother, they're not wrong. Try to tell a narcissistic mother she's wrong. Okay, we'll see what happens. So expect to be misunderstood. People are going to misunderstand you. And now I used to be like trying to explain my side of the story. Now I couldn't care less. I couldn't care any less than I do right now about what somebody thinks about me, especially a narcissistic family. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I knew my phone was going to ring. God told me it was going to ring too. But especially from a narcissistic family. Okay. Oh, my phone is on. I don't know why it's been doing it. It's on. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So I don't care if you misunderstand me. Now, from them. Now, from people I care about, I do care. And I will always try to make it right. And I try to make it right with them. But why would you try to keep somebody shows you who they are? Believe them. If somebody act like they don't care about you, believe that they don't care about you. Their actions are telling you, okay? So it will be some people like telling you, oh, honor thy mother and father. They think that honoring your mother and father is enabling them. Oh, just let them abuse you. Oh, you shouldn't talk about it. You're doing wrong. That's wrong. Oh, you're gonna have to be tough. You're gonna have to be tough. Okay. So you have to stop listening to people. Oh, that's your mother. Well, you go talk to her then. Okay. So you're gonna have to guard yourself and guard your heart and guard your spirit and have things in your mind to say when people say these things to you. What do you do? So that way you don't fall apart and you don't go back into the devil's den because people are pushing you in there. They didn't go through what you went through with this person in this situation. And understand that children, there can be 5 children and each have different experiences with different parents. Okay. So just because yours is different, it doesn't minimize what you've gone through. It doesn't eradicate what you've gone through. It doesn't minimize it. It doesn't excavated, it's still your story, is still your story. Okay. So you have to stand strong and expect to be misunderstood. Now I'm like, oh shit, now I don't hear it at all. That's God. But for somebody who doesn't know, but that's because I'm vocal. So I don't hide things. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I make my position known. I don't try to convince other people of my position, but my position, because everybody has a right to believe in what they want to believe in. And I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm just telling you where I stand. So don't try to make me, I'm not trying to make you go no contact. I just want you to know the ramifications if you don't go no contact, what it will be. Those are two separate things, okay? So absolutely expect to be misunderstood. You may feel lonely, but you're really detoxing. Your body is really separating itself, okay? So some of those emotions that have been suppressed for years, they start to come up. So make sure you're in therapy. Make sure you have a narcissist abuse life coach. Make sure you have a therapist who understands narcissist abuse, and get in support groups for children, adult children of narcissistic mothers or narcissistic fathers, or whatever your case is, okay? All right. So stop listening to narc sympathizers and flying monkeys. All right. You don't need their validation. You don't even need your mother's validation anymore. See, once you detach, you'll start to figure out, I don't even need her validation. Do I love her? Yeah, but you don't need her validation. Okay. You do not need her validation. All right. And you don't need the narc sympathizers and the flying monkeys validation either. All right. You don't. You think you do, but as you start to get stronger in yourself, because you've been so gaslit, okay, where you don't know some of you don't know your left from your right. So the more stronger you get, you start to see it was already in me. Satan, you have nothing for me, and I don't need anybody's validation, because now I know what God says about me. See, when you waffle and waver, you can't stay strong. You can't stay rooted in who God says that you are. So stop listening to narc sympathizers and flying monkeys. All right. You no longer need their validation. All right. So also, it will get worse before it gets better, but it's only temporary. All right. You got to go through the pain. What does Solomon say? You got to go through the pain for greater gain. Well, that's what I say. He says you got to go through your hurt to get your healing. And you do. Both are true. Okay. You have to go through your hurt to get your healing. And see, a lot of you don't want to go through that. So you just stay. It's just easier just to stay. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. Get rid of all them devils. Get rid of them all. Get rid of them all. Okay. All right. This is a hard one. Expect the unexpected. A knockdown, drag out smear campaign. Ooh, it digs deep. When it's your mother, your mother can sit there and lie on you. And who wants to believe? And most people are going to believe a mother, because who believes that a mother would carry a child for 9 months only to neglect the child emotionally, only to abuse the child, only to psychologically damage the child? Because once those demons get in there, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Your mother's in there, but if she's narcissistic, the demons have, and it's on a spectrum. Some are not as bad as others. Okay. But once Leviathan gets in there, once they give, place to the devil, you give the devil an inch, he takes a mile and a half, and they've come into agreement with what the enemy has told them to do. They've accepted their assignment. So from here on out, their job is to cause chaos and confusion. Their job is to keep you entrapped in generational curses. Okay? If your mother's a narcissist, that is her job. Her job is to keep you in the cycle of abuse. All right? And some of them will hold on. They'll act nice for a little while once you decide to go no contact. And some of them just let you go. And just let you go because they don't care, because especially if you unmask them, they don't care. Now, if you go quietly, then she may come back quietly. She'll try to, rope you in with the kids. Okay. But for me, like, even my kids, I think they talked to her initially at first, but like they now see that this thing is serious. Like, no, we breaking curses over here. I don't want them in bondage and her trying to, manipulate my children. against me? Absolutely not. So we've seen that. And you think that, especially those who let the mother babysit your children, you have to be careful with that. Narcissists will perform witchcraft on your children. They are diviners. They perform divination. All right. So they have the ability to turn your children against you. So you have to be careful. That's any narcissist. They have the ability to turn your own children against you. So you have to be careful once you know somebody is a narcissist. All right. You got to get away from that stuff. All right. So, and also understand what is happening to you on every level. Emotionally, your heart, because your heart loves your mother. Like the love doesn't just ooze from your body because you realize that your mother's narcissistic. Some part, the little girl in you or the little boy in you still wants their mother. All right. So you have to reparent. You have to grab that little boy and girl that is inside of you and reparent your inner child. All right. And let them know that, hey, no, we're not going to get this love. We're not going to get this love from this source. All right. It should be the source that we get it from, but you can't. All right. This person can't give it to you. So, and then psychologically, you have to unpack those memories and release yourself from the guilt. All right. You have to release yourself from the guilt. All right. Those heavy emotions, those emotions that have been bottled and suppressed in you your whole entire life. All right. You're dealing with that stuff. Get you a therapist who understands narcissist abuse to help you cope with that. And then physiologically, your body is detaching. Same thing when you have a narcissistic partner or friend or something like that. Physiologically, you're coming down, like your oxytocin levels are being affected. Every part of you is going through something. Your nervous system, especially with a narcissistic mother, you may have CPTSD. Your nervous system may be off. Okay. So it's a lot of things that are happening to your body. And then spiritually, once you decide to break that soul tie, you can go no contact and not break the soul tie, but the spirit has not been rebuked. The spirit has not been renounced. So you still feel an emotional tie and a spiritual tie to your mother. You have to sever that ungodly soul tie in addition to doing your work. And then financially, some of you have been taking care of a narcissistic mother. Some of you, your narcissistic mother takes care of you or helps you financially. All I can say is Jehovah Jireh is a provider. Let go and let God. See, that's why a lot of people stay entangled with a narcissistic mother, because maybe she does something for you or does this for your kids or does this or whatever the case may be. It's not worth it. You have to look at the long-term implications of what could occur if you stay you don't sever that soul tie. But I can tell you, in every one of those areas, every one of them, oh, my life, once I let that dead, all it was dead weight. Financially, because I used to do so much for my family financially. Financially, now I just look at my bank account and be like, okay. You know what I mean? Because I was casting my pearls to swine. I already didn't celebrate holidays, but for birthdays or whatever the case was, I go all out. You know what I mean? That's just me. I want people to know that they are loved, but I was just casting my pearls to swine. So now that money go on me and my kids and my husband, or it's just in my account, or I show it to other people. I show it to my chain breaker family, So yeah, you want to sow into good soil. And I was not sowing into good soil. I was sowing into weeds and unfruitfulness. So that has the ability to affect your finances as well. You got to be careful the ground that you're sowing your seeds in, even financially. If you are enabling narcissistic family members by giving them money and taking care of them, you are sowing on bad soil. Okay, your return on investment, you will have no return on investment. Your ROI will be zero. Because they can't give. All right. They do not give. All right. So when people try to tell you these things, honor your father, mother, do this, do that. The rules are different. Go talk to them. Just go talk to your mother. No, just let it go. The rules are different. They think that you are talking about a regular woman. They think that you are talking about someone who loves you. You are talking about someone who tries to control you through manipulation and dominate you. Okay. The rules are not the same. People do not understand this. It is not your job to help to make them understand this either. Now, if they are a true friend or somebody like that, and you try to help them understand what you have gone through, then good. But most people do not. They don't even care. It just makes them, it makes people uncomfortable when you talk about mothers. I realize that it does. It makes them like they pity you, like, oh, I'm gonna pray for you. No, I don't need your pity prayers. I'm fine. You know what I mean? I've dealt with this. I've had to go through the stages of grief. Pray for her. Pray for her soul. That's actually where your prayers could go. Okay, pray for her soul. Pray that she has an awakening. That's why I pray for narcissistic. I pray for her to hit rock bottom. I pray for her to hit rock bottom so she can really find God for real and stop playing with God. Okay, because time is getting short. So yes, those people are going to try to draw you in. They don't understand. All right, but societal norms will keep you in bondage. It is designed that way. Break free from the guilt. Do y'all not know Satan is the ruler of this world? You see how cultures, go back and listen to my message on cults, culture, and generational curses. It is Satan has strategically designed it this way. He has strategically implanted these low-level narcissists, these low-level demons inside of people to keep other people in bondage and on the plantation. All right. And only when you get in Christ and only when you understand the severity and the ramifications of staying in narcissistic relationships do you understand what is really occurring in the spiritual realm. I don't care who it is. All right. So let's talk about how to break free before we get out of here. How do you break free? You got to be honest with yourself. You have to come to terms with what has happened to you. It is okay to be righteously have righteous indignation, because that righteous indignation fuels you to want to do better. All right. It fuels you temporarily. Now, you don't stay there. As I always say, you don't stay there, but you need to allow yourself to feel, because for so long, a lot of us weren't able to say that I'm hurt, you know, without it being turned. Everything that we do, somehow it ends up being about her. You can say I'm hurt, and somehow that conversation would turn to her being hurt. All right. And it's not coming from a place like survivors. You tell me you're hurt. I might tell you I'm hurt. I may tell you what happened to me. You may tell you, you know what I mean? It's an exchange. But with the narcissist, they take over. Oh, you hurt. Oh, yeah, you went through that. Oh, I went through worse. Oh, I did this. Oh, no. When I was little, I went through this. Oh, you went to school. Oh, no. When I went to school, we didn't have it. Like, you're supposed to make your children's lives better. Children's lives better, not worse. Okay. It is not a badge of honor for your kids to suffer as much as you have suffered. That is such dysfunctional thinking. Okay. That is such dysfunctional thinking. And you see how Satan flips everything. Okay. So if you feel like you have to take care of a narcissistic parent, go to God about that. One thing I can tell you about a narcissistic parent is they bounce back on their feet. They bounce back on their feet. Narcissist, period. So sometimes they have to suffer the natural consequences of things, because in that is where they can find God. Okay. So allow somebody else. If your parent is narcissistic, allow them. They can go to a nursing home. They can go, because you don't want those demons. Allow those demons and bring yourself back into the devil's den. All right. So allow one of their narc sympathizers or their flying monkeys or the people that enable them to take care of them. You are not indebted to take care of a narcissistic mother because she is up in age after she has had a lifetime of abusing you. Now, if you want to do that, if God has told you to do, you feel like God has told you to do something, all I know is God said, get away from evildoers. And there's not a caveat in there except for a mother, except for a father. He said, I have not come to bring peace. All right. I have come to bring yet a sword. The truth divides, the truth disturbs, but it delivers you. And the truth sets you free. And that's why a lot of you are not free, because you're listening to societal norms. All right. You listen to the people in the church trying to keep you in bondage, even some people who mean well. All right. So that's why you have to stand on what God has shown you. All right. So absolutely. So no contact is needed to help get you out of the fall. No contact is to get you out of the fog, and that means fear, obligation, and guilt. Because a lot of you are afraid. You're afraid, oh, God may punish you. Oh, you're afraid of your narcissistic mother. You're fearful. All right. Fear is not from God. A healthy fear is, we have reverence for God, but fearing man, fearing mother, fearing dad, fearing people, that's not of God. That's not of God. All right. And then you feel obligated to take care of someone who has emotionally neglected and emotionally abused you. No, and that doesn't mean that you don't forgive them. I forgive my mother. Just because I talk about my experiences, I forgive her. I made a choice. I have compassion for her because I understand that she was hurt, and something in her feels so shameful about her experiences that she cannot tell the truth to save her life. Oh my goodness. My brother's the same way. They cannot tell the truth about certain, my family, that they don't like the truth. I'm a lover of truth. Okay, so you got to understand, you got to release yourself from that. Release yourself from that. Okay, she likely has no intentions of changing. Okay, and no, they don't even change just for you. Change, look, think how hard it is for people to change. Okay, change just doesn't happen overnight. So if somebody comes to you and they're like, oh, I've changed, how? Show me. That's something I need to see. I need to see how you have changed before I allow you back into my life. And that does not mean just because I forgive you, it doesn't mean that I have to reconcile the relationship. I can love you from afar, and that's what I choose to do. So it's up to you to what you decide to do, what your boundaries are. But it is, you can love from a distance, but they don't even change even for their children. They sacrifice their children. They sacrifice their children to stay in relationships. They sacrifice their children so they can live a certain way. They sacrifice their children so they can gain narcissistic supply because they're demonically influenced if you have a narcissistic parent. All right. So, and usually they're all about money. Oh, narcissistic women. Ooh, they love some money, honey. Okay. But they don't see anything wrong with themselves. They see something wrong with you. All right. So everything that they feel, all they do is project that on to you. So now you don't respond. You respond, you don't react. All right. If you choose to respond. See, I don't even choose to respond. Block, block, block. But if you do, even in engaging with any type of narcissist, especially a narcissistic mother, don't, when she says those crazy, you already know they're going to say those craziest things to you that are absolutely have no truth in them. All right. Or they'll spin a little truth with a whole lot of lies. So that is done purposely so that you just scramble to defend yourself. Now you just, that's cute. You're entitled to think the way that you want to think. Whatever it is that you need to say. And I know narcissists say that as well. So, but whatever it is that you need to say to keep yourself grounded, don't go back and forth with them. They love it. They just want supply. They don't care if it's negative or positive. They just want it. But your focus is not on her. Your focus is on you. So a lot of people, oh, mama, you hurting me. They don't care. They get off on hurting you. Even your narcissistic mothers. That's narc smirk. Mine used to do that narc smirk. I didn't know. And I had seen it in the ex. They love that narc smirk. They look at you like they've gotten away with something because they have. They have. So you can't nag her, plead with her, and convince her to change. Your focus is on you. Come out of agreement with the lies of a loser. Do not accept the lies of Satan and his demons, his low-level, dusty demons. Come out of agreement with, get your mother's voice out of your head. All right. That's why you need therapy. That's why you need to sit with God, because he'll begin to show you and he'll begin to replace those thoughts in your mind, because your head is, your subconscious mind is running off of faulty programming that your narcissistic mother tried to influence you with, witchcraft. All right. So do not doubt yourself. It's going to be hard. These things are going to take practice, but just make small decisions. If you're not trusting yourself, make small decisions day by day where you feel that you have control of your life. All right. But don't gaslight yourself. Don't accept the blame. When they try to shift blame on you, don't accept it. Now is the time to ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want out of life? Who are you? Now is the time to figure that all out. Who are you? Who are you outside of your narcissistic mother? What do you want? What do you need? All right. Now is the time to focus on you. Where is your self-love, your self-worth, and your self-respect? If you ever, like, chain breakers, for real, don't allow anybody to disrespect you and dishonor you. But you have, that starts with you. Okay. And it starts with letting you know that even your parents should not be degrading you, belittling you. They should not be doing any of that. Parents, I would never talk to my children like that. I uplift them. I speak blessings over their lives. Is your mother speaking blessings over your life? No, they're speaking curses. Oh, you'll never do that. Oh, you stupid, you're fat, you're ugly. What? So they're speaking curses. They're speaking witchcraft over you. Get away from people like that. So you don't let anyone belittle you like that. It's wrong. Anyone, even your mother, that is not honoring you. That is not honoring her by letting her talk to you like that. Okay. So what is the commandments? What does the Bible say? What does it say? Does it say love everybody and you just be on the back burner? See, that's the stuff we learn in church, that you have to unlearn everything that the toxicity that you've been learning for years and years. All right. Love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. So where do we get the fact that we just let people walk all over us? Show me in the Bible where Jesus let anybody walk all over him. Show me that. Why are we still acting like Jesus was some weak man? He was not. He was not. He stood strong against the Pharisees. Okay. He absolutely did. So we have to get out of our mind that it's humble, is like Christian, like to let somebody walk all over you. No, you're a doormat. Where in the Bible does God say be a doormat to people? Where? Show me. Show me, for those of you that think that. It does not say that. All right. God's word stands true. He said, love yourself. Love yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. All right. So understand that you're going to have a lot of guilt. All right. That's normal. But you want to start shedding that. It's normal with a narcissistic mother. It's not normal and it's not right. It is emotional abuse. You have been emotionally and psychologically abused at a minimum if you have a narcissistic parent. All right. So a lot of people feel guilt. They feel guilty about going no contact. They feel guilty if they stay in a relationship. I wrestle with this. And I went to my therapist for this. But even therapy couldn't. Only when I sat with God did he really begin to reveal the innermost workings of me so I could shed these behaviors. Okay. So if you're feeling guilty, like I said, one thing about narcissists and narcissistic parents, they always land on their feet. Somehow they always find somebody to give them money. They always find somebody to take care of them. They always find somebody else to marry, to dupe, to scheme on. So just don't let it be you anymore. Don't be feeling guilty about that. They land on their feet. All right. They land on their feet until God will allow them a grace period to get it right. But when God steps in, oh, it's game over. Game over. All right. So allow yourself to go through the grieving process and grieving the mother that you never had. So on Mother's Day today, this day is, if you celebrate it, tomorrow, Sunday, whenever you watch this message, from now on, your life is about you, and not in a selfish way, but in a loving way. All right. So you are going to be kind to yourself. You are love. You are kindness. All right. So reparent yourself. Give yourself all the love that you did not give, and give that love back to your loved ones, to people who love you, to people who reciprocate love back to you. All right. So yes, but understand, if you go back, if you break no contact, the enemy senses weakness. You are not wrestling with flesh and blood. All right. You are wrestling with demonic forces, and they want nothing more than to keep you in bondage. They want nothing more than to have you feeling indebted to a narcissistic mother. They want that. They love it. They need it. They thrive off of that. And only when you decide to break those chains do you take your power back and snatch the enemy's plans out of their hands. You cancel their enemy's assignment. You come into agreement with who God has said about you. All right. But if you do that, you'll feel bad. And we don't want you feeling that, because in God, there's no condemnation. Okay. But you got to know, you got to hold true. All right. Because if I would have stayed, I didn't know it was no contact, but if I would have stayed no contact years ago, I wouldn't have been in this situation in here. Okay. But now I didn't have clarity then, but now I have clarity, and I hope that you have that same clarity. So love on yourself, chain breaker. Love on yourself. All right. No matter what kind of mother you had, you didn't have. All right. Now is the time to really wrap yourself with love. So if you're feeling lonely on this Mother's Day, if you're feeling like, well, I don't have a mother, you have a mother and a father. You have the Most High. God loves you. All right. And he will send people. And even if you're lonely, God, it loves you. All right. He loves you more than you ever could know. So sometimes he will hide you from people. Sometimes he will hide you from for a season. All right. Where you feel like people aren't seeing you, the goodness in you, then those aren't your people, because your people will see the goodness in you. All right. So love yourself. That's all I want you to know. I don't care if you have, if you've talked to your mother, if you don't, whatever the case is. If you have a narcissistic mother, I just want you to reparent yourself and give yourself all the love that you didn't give. You deserve it. And the more you stay in tune with God, the more he will begin to show you his goodness and his mercy. And he will be everything that you didn't get. I am a living witness, chain breakers. All right, y'all. Let's wrap this up here. I just want y'all to know how loved you are. And let me say the prayer, the serenity prayer. God, grant me the sincerity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking, as Jesus did, the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. All right, that is it, chain breakers. All right, so I do a live. I think I'm gonna do a live video on. No, I'm not gonna do a live video on Sunday. I'll be out of town, so I'll probably do another video premiere. So don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe. Remember, if you need life coaching sessions, visit www.narcfreeliving.com. The link is on the homepage and also in the frequently asked questions. Don't forget to sign up for that boot camp. Y'all, we're going to have a good time. We're going to be breaking some chains. A lot of people have signed up, so go and reserve your seat today. A lot of women, it's for my sisters only, because we're going to be intimate. We're going to get to the root of some things there, okay? And don't forget to meet me on Clubhouse on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. We talk about all things related to narcissist abuse. All right, chain breakers. So don't forget to love on yourself. Don't forget to be kind to yourself. All right, and then love the people that are around you. And don't forget that you are not your mother. You are not your mother. She was just a vessel to get you into this world so that you can fulfill the purpose that God has in you. All right, y'all be blessed.
Stress. Check it out. Feel the rhythm on the bass bar. Feel the rhythm on the bass bar. If any woman comes around,